Hello, welcome to Sunday Storytime. Now this week we have the second in the Legends stories for you, and this one comes from Rhos Primary School, a year 4-5 class a few years ago, and it is called The Dragon and the Volcano. The snow-capped mountain sparkled in the winter sun. Towering high into the sky, it dwarfed the many conifer trees and the winding flowing river that cut through the valley below. Very few people made it to the top of the mountain. The icy whistling wind, the thick snow, and the fog that sometimes spread over the peak ensured that only the most foolish would ever try to climb to the top. But on this day, the mountain looked magical. It looked like a picture-perfect scene from a fairy tale. Looks, though, can be deceiving. On closer inspection, you would have noticed a creature thrashing through the deep snow, its huge talon claws gouging out chunks of snow, its tail swishing ferociously in its wake. The creature was chameleon-like in the way it changed appearance to match its surroundings. On the snow-capped mountain, the creature was pure white. It was a dragon, but not any dragon. This was a dragon that was feared by many, as so often happens, hunted by many too. It was hunted for its wings and its claws, both of which could be used as deadly weapons by any hunter who captured the dragon. The dragon that was thrashing up the snowy mountainside was the last one left of its flight. The other dragons having been wiped out by the hunters. And now the hunters came after this one last dragon. They were a fierce band of creatures themselves, these hunters, not quite human, not quite animal. From a distance, they would look like a regular human being, but get up close and first you'd see their enormous size, and then their fiery red eyes that burned deep holes into their face. When they charged, swinging their massive warhammers through the air, it was like a tornado had struck. There were 12 of them that day. 12 of the best hunters who could track the dragon through the snow. Whatever the dragon did to cover its tracks, the hunters were not fooled. There would be no escape for the dragon. Soon the hunters had the creature in their sights. Any moment now, the warhammers would start their terrifying whirl through the air. But in the blink of an eye, the dragon vanished. There came loud, puzzled grunts from the hunters. They looked all around, but the dragon was nowhere to be seen. It had disappeared into thin air. That's what the hunters thought, at least. The dragon had entered the mountain through a cave that had not yet been covered up by snow. Inside the mountain, there was a maze of tunnels, dimly lit by the orange glow that seeped out from the walls. The walls were hot to touch and gave off the smell of sulphur, a bit like rotten eggs. The dragon pressed on. The hunters would soon discover the cave. As the dragon went further into the mountain, the number of tunnels that branched out from the main one increased. There were some that were so narrow a cat would struggle to get through. Some so high they disappeared like funnels into the darkness above. In other tunnels, there were the bones of creatures that had made their way into the mountain and had become trapped there. A thought flashed through the dragon's mind. What if I'm trapped here? But before that question could be answered, the tunnels shook with a deafening roar. The hunters. They had found the cave. The attack had begun. Arrows flew, daggers flew. The mountain shook with the roar of the charging hunters. The dragon dashed through one of the higher tunnels and into a wide open area, a cavern, high enough for the dragon to be able to fly and avoid the daggers, but not the arrows, not the war hammers. The dragon fought as best as it could, but there were too many hunters to fight. Some of the arrows pierced its side. The dragon lashed out, took out a couple of hunters with a swipe, but he was losing strength. Dragon flew to the roof of the cave. There was no way out. Or was there? Another tunnel, rather like a chimney, leading up through the roof. This gave the dragon an idea. It was either this or be trapped at the mercy of the hunters. The dragon swooped down as quickly as it could and, using its wings, crashed into the rocky wall at the opening of the cavern. The walls crumbled, rocks fell, sealing up the opening. If I die, the hunters do too, the dragon thought. But the dragon had no plans to die that day. As another hail of arrows flew through the air, the dragon shot back up to the roof, burst through the gap, which was just wide enough. The dragon looked back down on the hunters, and remembering what they had done to its home and the other dragons, it let out the most fierce and powerful roar. And with the roar came the flames. A huge fireball engulfed the whole of the cavern. And the dragon didn't stop. The hunters turned to dust. Suddenly, the whole of the cavern exploded. All of the walls had turned to magma, and the magma was rising rapidly. The dragon hurtled up through the chimney. Up and up it went, the magma catching him. The heat was rising, thick smoke billowing. The walls were melting away. The dragon went faster and faster until, with all its strength, it crashed through the top of the mountain and shot high up into the sky. Behind, the magma had exploded out of the mountain and was now raining down as lava and ash. The roar out of the mountain continued for days and days. From all around the country, people came to watch the burning mountain. They gave it the name Vulcan, after the Roman god of fire. Today, we know it as Volcano. The dragon was never seen again. Some say that it still lives on in the mountains. Some say it lives above the clouds. And I suppose we'll never really know. And that was the story of the dragon and the volcano by a Year 4-5 class from Rhos Primary School. I hope you enjoyed that story, and I hope to see you again next week for another Sunday Storytime. Until then, bye for now.